Oh, hi there. Name's Anthony Movie Storm. Nice to meet you. Were you under the impression that because movies are often shot on Super 35 sensors, that your budget-ass hobo APS-C camera is movie ready? We should talk.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So whenever I film on a full-frame camera, I get a lot of comments suggesting that, hey bro, movies are shot on Super 35, you don't need full frame, this is new, this is stupid. Yeah, you're right. We could all get away with half a 2-inch of a 1/8 sensor size. Oh, I delayed that. Right now we're on APS-C. Plenty good enough, man. Nikon Z30 with the 40mm Tony 2 in autofocus. And we're just hoping to, dear God, that something good happens. I think I stopped it down to Tony 4. 4 Tonys, was it? It was a 3.5. 4 Tonys. And my scene, the movie that you're watching right now, is half man-made skyline, CN Tower somewhere there, and the other half is nature. And I'm not litten by anything, therefore ruining the shot. Oh boy. And I'm gonna switch to a full frame setup midway through the video to compare. It's such overkill compared to this, and I'm with you guys. Super 35 all the way. I just want some fun things like Fuji, Super 35. They went for it. It's movie-like. Their sensors have super high dynamic range, beautiful colors. If you lock off that white balance, don't let it shift and hunt to a magenta shift. Right now we're at 5,500 Kelvins. Clouds going by constantly, so we're just gonna live with that change. And I'm gonna embrace it. Say, sun, clouds, you do whatever you want. I'm gonna make my movie here. So like Super 35, overkill. Most of my channel was done on a micro four thirds camera and an action frickin' 1/2.55 inch sensor, smaller than anything known to man. Almost as small as Pentax's new camera release. Wow. The thing that annoys me when these people suggest that Super 35 is perfect, look, the movies are doing it. Look at their rigs, man. It ain't just, nobody's going around with a Sony a6700 handheld. It's frickin' rigged up with like a machine gimbal, often like frickin' things that could fix windows on the 4th floor, like cranes. We're talking monitors with cables dangling that several people are watching, and then there's a focus puller on the side remotely operating it, and someone looking at him to make sure he's doing it right. And then there's the battery guy who has like a big V mount, and he has one in his pocket, and he's lopsided, and his hip's about to fall out of place. I saved the sentence. There's so much that goes into these APS-C rigs that like, and the colorists afterwards, like say you shot it and all the lighting, holy cow, we could go on forever. The lighting alone in a movie set, thousands of dollars. Why does it feel so dark and cold? You damn clouds. Just like so much lights you wouldn't believe it, from hair lights to backlit and accents, and here's the lamp over here. That's where the light's coming from, but then it's this giant thing. So like you do all this stuff and the microphone guy is holding, his back is crooked and he's shaking in the wind, and there's a guy listening to his headphones. There's 2 sets. And the frickin' colorist at the end, he's editing the video. He's masking out your face. He's doing stuff that you would never do. And you're comparing that to a frickin' hobo YouTuber setup. It's a one-man thing here. We need different stuff. We need autofocus, auto-exposing, which I didn't do today. I'm just letting Nikon decide nothing because I ruined my life last video with it. So we're just normal 1/50th ND filters. Autofocus. You know how annoying it is to stand this far away from your camera, like 10 feet, and hope to God that you focused on something? I can't do it. I can focus on the thing. I'll pick this and I'll stand here and I'm out of focus still somehow. Like I chose this and I stood next to it. Why am I out? I don't understand. There's a curvature with the lenses, and so something down here is not the same as right here. That's why Marcus picks. He has like a genius setup where he built like a mannequin head on a tripod his perfect height, and he brings it out there, and it's like perfect. You focus on that, stand behind him, punch him in the face, and then it falls over, and you make your movie. I'm not going to do that. I rode a scooter here. I can't fit a mannequin in the backpack. Come on. So here's the reality. For YouTube, there's two ways you can play this game. There's the cheap budget fun way, and it's fun to do. I love recording on this budget setup. It was so cheap and light, but it still looks all right, doesn't it? Come on now. I chose not to blur the background, by the way. We could have done that, and I will do it now. Uh-oh, I have to adjust things. Oh boy, adjusting on the fly. Uh-oh, I'm overexposed. So while it's fun to have something super light and to brag that like, oh, I make a living and all I've ever used is my phone. What did you spend on your rig? Your bullshit. And like focusing on the fun content is more important, and that's what I've always done. I admit it. I get lost in chasing the spec sheets. It's fun. It's fun to look at stuff. Oh, what do you have? 10-bit log, 4K 60, all right. Should be 120 on that, and come on. We obsess, but the reality is all we need is something cheap. Probably cheaper than this is just fine. But there's the other side where you come out here and you want a nicer image. Maybe I'm a little dark in this scene because I chose not to bring lights. And the sky is okay, and we're living with that. But a full frame camera should have more dynamic range and possibly better colors, maybe a little sharper, a little more 3D pop, more lens choices. So let us switch to a full frame and see, did it get worse or better? The ton. You have no idea the struggle of getting this camera to recognize that I'm a human boy first before you start recording. It will just see nothing. Oh boy, I hope it has me now. Oh my goodness, it looks like it. Oh boy. So now I've brought you to this beautiful location. I've blurred it out to oblivion. We're at the 85mm 1.2 with the Canon R8. Still like a quite budget setup for a full frame. I'm not saying, oh, you can only get a nice image if you spend millions of dollars. Come on now, don't twist the words. But sometimes you like a little full frame pop. Come on. Here are some of the reasons I prefer shooting full frame over these Super 35 Movie Maker devices. More dynamic range, usually, not always. I bet you if we had the Fuji X-H2S right here, I'd be losing this battle pretty hard, and it's embarrassing to be that person with the full frame camera with less dynamic range. It hurts. But like Sony A7S III, like, it's a beautiful look to have the sky, you still see blue, but then you're still exposed. And it's a softness, a glory light coming into us, into our hearts. And it's nicer than having clipped skies and super contrasty image and over sharpened stuff. Like full frame in general is just a better quality. And usually the colors are nicer. I guarantee you that Z30, if we switch to a Nikon ZF, with that lens, you'd be like, oh, that is better. That's a nicer look. It's a lot more money. Do you even deserve it? Doubt it. Autofocus detect only me. Don't change. Don't change. I'm still here. It's the best mode ever for Canon. The ton. Look at that background. So much nice stuff there. The city. Do you like the contrast between the nature and the city and mankind? Is he taking over? You can't see any of it? Oh, that's a bitch. But is there 3D pop? Compared to Nikon, little side by side, full frame versus movie boy. Is he a movie that you prefer? I don't have any light anymore. That's a giant cloud that came. Light has left our lives, but whatever, man. Whatever to your face. Does Canon still have me back here? I also love mostly full frame lenses. Those are usually the nicer ones. Old Canon L lenses for EF. There wasn't like a bunch of L lenses for APS-C DSLRs. Like, you're not using that. And the new RF stuff, it's sharper, but you lose the character of it. And the Zeiss lenses for Sony, it's like, yeah, you could use those on APS-C, but then now you're doing math, you're cropping, things are crazy, you're punched in, If you want like wider lenses, man, that Voigtlander, 20 mil on this, come on now, you can't compete. Full frame is nice. So it's not about needing full frame for YouTube. That's ridiculous. You start anywhere. Every one of us, I started on the point and shoot Canon, and then I upgraded to a Sony point and shoot with the same size sensor. I had no idea what I was doing. It was a zoom lens and green face tones. And then like finally we got the 1-inch sensor G7X, then it started looking nice. Then I could have still been using that camera today and it would be an improvement. Some people say, oh, you look so healthy back then. It's just the Canon camera. They're beautiful. But it depends what you're filming. If you think this is cinematic, you're a moron. It's completely blurred out. That's not why I got this 1.2 lens. It wasn't for that at all. I planned on standing so far away that I would still pop from the background being like 90 years away from you. So that can be fun. Are there people coming? It sounds like people are coming to ruin my life. I think the universe has spoken just by putting clouds up when I switched to full frame. God was like, you know what? Your message should be cheap is better. So like it is that and always has been that. But like I've been given most of this stuff and it's fun to test. It's fun. They're looping around. They walked past me and they're looping back. Oh. But it's just something I've noticed over the years filming many YouTube videos across all the different formats. The smaller the sensor, the cheaper the look. You can get around it and you can still get great looking footage, but if you know what you're doing, your little point and shoot is not going to look as good as your full frame setup. If you don't know what you're doing, the full frame's going to destroy your pocket shoot thing because it's just better. So it's like there's a place and a time for nice looking footage, but don't fool yourself into thinking that makes your video nice. Just because you're panning around a flower and everything else is blurred out, you're not a movie. It's not cinematic, it's boring. So like, do something fun, dance. You got me. Oh, welcome to the hell that is my life. I wanted a full body shot, so I had to pan down, but right now I can't tell if my feet are in the shot. I'm not gonna dance, don't worry. So the take-home message is, you're okay. You're okay with what you got. Start small and stay there if you want. You don't have to upgrade. Nothing is better for you in the full frame universe. You'll be fine. With your little dinky cameras, it's fun. I enjoy your videos. On the little dinky thing. This big. It's that big. The point is, focus on the content. Never dance on camera when you don't know how to do the crip walk thing, because you're white, and just move on from that dream. You're not ever gonna pull it off. So I'm gonna leave. I think we learned a lot today, and thank you for watching it, and consider subscribing for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Never know what to do with the hands. In the pockets. I'll leave. Buy full frame. It's the only way. It's the only way.